A High Court ruling has temporarily halted the repatriation of former Zambian President Edgar Lungu's remains, escalating a dispute that has persisted for nearly 10 months. The court in Pretoria, acting on an urgent application by the family, has ordered the Zambian government to release the remains to a funeral home of the family's choice, with the order in effect until May 21. To talk more about this, we're now joined by Ambassador Amb Mwamba, who is the official spokesperson for the Patriotic Front, the former ruling party of Zambia. Ambassador, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. What is the reaction of the Patriotic Front's reaction to what has been playing out between the Lungu family as well as the government of Zambia around the remains and the body of President Lungu? And I ask this given just how unfortunate and perhaps messy the situation has now become.
We are in total shock. The entire country is in total shock of the events that have occurred the last 2 days. We learned of an activity by the Zambian government that they were attempting to illegally retrieve the body of the remains of Zambia's sixth president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, from the mortuary, from the morgue that has been holding him, the funeral parlor, 2 Mountains. And our lawyers frantically tried to stop the Zambian officials, accompanied by South African police, from taking that body. That body was taken in the evenings of Wednesday, and the family lawyers rushed to the Gauteng Pretoria court and obtained an interdict to stop the government from repatriating that body and to immediately surrender the body as it was taken illegally from the funeral parlor. And yesterday, on Thursday, the families and lawyers and their lawyers were frantically to establish where the body was. The Attorney General of the Republic of Zambia and the South African police did not comply with that urgent order to surrender the body back to the family or to the funeral parlor of their choice. And then we learned very late in the night, when they finally found the body, that a postmortem was conducted on the remains of the late president without the authority, consent, or presence of any family member or lawyer for the family.
Ultimately, this has to be resolved one way or the other. What is the view of the Patriotic Front around what the most amicable way is to resolve this ongoing dispute between the family and the government?
The family has been very clear, and the Patriotic Front has also been very clear. The family wants to put the remains of the late president in Zambia. They want him buried in Zambia. They want this matter to be settled. And it should be done with the wishes of the late president and the wishes of the family. But the Zambian government has been bullying itself and insisting that the late president should be buried in accordance with the state protocols. The former president, President Edgar Lungu, had issues. The family has had issues, and they are merely determined that the wishes of the late president are honored, such as that at the funeral and burial that the current president must not attend. And you must know that that is not strange. For example, here in America, there's a famous senator who died and demanded that the current president, Donald Trump, should not attend the funeral. And President Donald Trump respected the wish of the family. In this case, President Hakainde Hichilema and his government have not demonstrated that they are willing to honor the wishes of the late president, hence the standoff.
Yeah, and just lastly, the government seems quite adamant, and as they made the case in court, that they are entitled to the body of former President Lungu, and that he does not belong to the family alone, but belongs to all Zambians, as having served as the president of Zambia. And of course, the government then feels that they ought to be playing a role in the burial of President Lungu. And it seems that is the intractable difference between the family and the government at the moment. Is there a middle ground that makes both of them happy?
First, we should recognize what has happened, where they illegally got the body of the late president without the authority or consent of the family, and disregarding and blatantly abusing the law and the very court order they said they were relying on picking the body. They picked the body without the authority of the family and without any law supporting them. Secondly, they've conducted a postmortem on the body of the late president without, again, consent or presence of the family. All those are serious violations against the rights of the former president, the rights of the family, and just the dignity of the late president. If there are any issues, any matters that they wish to conduct, it cannot be done in the manner that has been done. This matter can be settled very easily. The President Hakainde Hichilema, must step away. He can delegate to his vice president. I think the wishes do not extend to any government officials. We've had many state and official funerals that have been conducted without the presence of the head of state. It's a state funeral, and the state is far bigger than the president. And the president must step away according to the wishes of the family. The pain, the financial burden, and the torture that this entire process has caused, not just to the family, but to Zambians, is immeasurable. And we are calling on the dignity of President Hakainde Hichilema, to the decency of him to show leadership and allow this matter to be settled. You can't steal the body in the manner they stole. You cannot conduct an illegal postmortem without the family and without his consent.
Certainly, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Ambassador Amb Mwamba, the spokesperson of the Patriotic Front, the former ruling party of Zambia.